We're just going to talk a little bit about how to register your child for high school classes. We're going to go through the timeline, and that's really important that you know, because that will tell you, even if you've been through this before, it'll give you information about the specific times when your kids will be bringing home their materials. We're going to talk about the available options. We do have some new options this year that are coming on scene. And we're continuing to add to those. So even if you've had high school kids, we want to make sure that you're aware of what's available. And then we just want to arm you with information and questions to ask your kids to be able to help them. So years ago and decades ago, we used to have parent meetings for the 8th grade registration. And then they kind of went away for a while. And then we heard from parents saying, we really just need more information because we want to help, we need to help. We know that students have a lot of choices in high school, and we think our courses have changed over time, so we want to make sure that you leave with information about what courses are available. There are just a lot of options, so that's one of the reasons we had this. The other thing is that high school is becoming increasingly important. We know that most jobs will take something, about 90% of jobs take at minimum a high school diploma, 90%. There's very few jobs out there that don't take a high school diploma, but 70% of jobs take something in addition to a high school diploma. They take some type of post-secondary training. So whether it's a one-year college, a two-year college, a four-year college, or something more than that even. Most jobs are going to take something afterwards. So we really see high school as that time when you're kind of setting, that's that transition between all of the the previous years, the K-8 education, and then setting you up for life after high school. So we think high school registration is more important now than ever, and it should not be taken for granted that your kids will just, as long as they get their high school diploma, they're good to go. That's probably not a good mentality, I guess, as a parent anymore, because the high school, those years, whatever courses they take, are really important for getting into college. Sometimes right now, because we offer college credit in some of our high school classes, sometimes it can shorten their time while they're at high school or while they're at college. So we think it's really important. The last one, we have found that parents just aren't always aware of what the options are. We would like to believe that every flyer that we send home gets to you and that you have time to read it. I'm a mom of 2 kids, and I know what it's like, as well as many of the school staff here. We know that it's busy, so we think this is we think the 30 minutes is probably well worth the time. So let's just dig right into the registration process. First of all, this is how it's going to look coming up in the next little short while. First of all, the high school counselors are going to visit all of the middle schools. And during that time, they will make sure that the 8th graders receive different pieces of information. One of the things that they will get will be something called a course catalog. I have an example. Mine is a spiral bound. I don't think the ones that come home are actually going to be spiral bound, but I wanted to show you the magnitude of it. It's a pretty thick document. And this has every course that they're going to be able to take in high school. So this document is super important. And again, in just a few minutes, I'm going to tell you when your child will be bringing this home. The cheat sheet for this you're getting today, and it's the little trifold brochure. So if you want to look at that right now. The reason this is a cheat sheet is because it has every course in it that's offered. So this one is just the names of the courses. This one has not only the name of the course, which grade levels are able to take it, the eligibility, who's eligible to take that class, and a description of the course. So this one, for example, you can look up IB history as one of them, and it has a whole description of what the course is. So that's why this is going to be really interesting to you, because you're going to see the title here and you're going to say, gosh, I wonder what JA Economics is. You can go to the book and find out exactly what it is when the book comes home. So I think that's all that I needed to mention. Make sure that you look at this. When you open it up on the upper or on the left-hand side, it does have the high school graduation requirements of what kids actually need to take. That has changed a little bit. So if you've had other kids who have gone through the system, you do need to look at the new updates, because those are changing all of the time. Okay? So once your kids get their materials, again, they will get that course catalog that I just referenced, but they will also get that registration worksheet. The registration worksheet is just something that we're gonna kind of mess with. Just think of it as a draft. And the good part about that, number 3, says that we don't send the booklet home and the worksheet home for you to try to sort through and make sense of it. We just don't do that, because we think it's hard for parents to look through the book and say, I don't know what they're supposed to take. I just can't figure that out. So what we do is we have the middle school counselors sit down individually or in small groups with each of our 8th graders. Every single one of them will get called into the middle school counselor's office or wherever they're going through that, whatever location it is, and they'll have a conversation. And when they come home, they will have a draft schedule ready. It's just a draft. You may like it, you may not like it. We will not register them until you've had a chance to look at that draft, to go through the book, to have a conversation with your child, and bless that schedule. The draft schedule will come home to you, but then parents will comment, sign, and return that schedule. So again, you're gonna write on there and say, I really don't want them to take this. Or maybe they sign up for a math class and you want them to take an upper level math class. That's your chance to tell us that. We will not register the kids into the system until we've heard from you. So now let's look at some dates. First of all, this one says January blank because the next slide has all of the 4 middle schools and it tells you exactly when they'll be in your school. Then after that, you'll get your registration materials. In February, that's when they will sit down. It takes a little while because they call them in, again, individually or in pairs to go through that. That takes a little while. So most of the month of February will be used to get the kids a draft schedule ready for them. The draft schedule will come home to you by the end of February. And what I can promise you is that your middle school principals will do for the 8th graders, they will send a Connect Ed call and it'll say, we have finished completing all of the drafts. The drafts are coming home to you tomorrow or tonight. And the reason we do that is because then when they come home, you're gonna say, let me see your materials. Let me see your draft. Let me see the course, and you might already see they'll have the course catalog and they can bring that home ahead of time. So maybe you've already seen that, but the draft will be coming home at the end of February. Then, this is an important date. March 6th is the date that you need to have that draft returned to us. I love it. A good mom right there, she's getting out her calendar and she's putting it right on there right now. That's what we all do, right? So March 6th is the day that has to come back to us. Again, we will remind you through that. We will send lots of reminders. We'll send Connect Ed calls so that you see that date. If you miss the date, we'll call you. We are not going to schedule them until we've heard from you. So the one thing that you can do to help us out is actually to send it back on time because that just prevents us from having to make a phone call to you. But if you forget, we will call. And then finally in April and May, that's when the high school counselors start entering kids into the system. And they will have not only all of the freshmen or the incoming freshmen to register, but everybody else as well. So they will be, between now and the end of the year, they will be running about 3,000 schedules. But they'll work with the freshmen to make sure that they have that in there, okay? Well, one of the things that we hear all the time is the most important thing that kids can do when they go into high school is to get involved. First of all, it will make them more satisfied with their high school experience, but it actually helps them be more likely to graduate. Kids who are involved, who take part in the activities are more likely to graduate. They're more likely to have a group of friends that they can connect with. They feel connected. It's just a better experience for them. So we wrote up there just some of the examples. We have really extremely engaging courses. If your children were not in Waterloo schools and maybe a smaller district, they would not have all of the options that we have. They just wouldn't. This is quite a smorgasbord of options for kids. Tons of fine arts and performing arts options. There's all kinds of athletics. There's a variety of clubs that they could do, extracurricular options. Make sure that you pursue those options. The one thing that we had at some of the meetings at the nights, like the one that was held at Hoover and the one that was held at Carver recently, we actually had a variety of people come and set up tables, the people with different clubs. We had the band was there and they had a little booth set up so that when parents came, they could actually go and sign up. We didn't bring them in for all of this from across all of the 3 high schools, but I'm telling you right now that you can call the school, you can talk with your middle school and say, hey, give me a list, or just call them and talk it through. Tell them what your kid is interested in, what kind of talents they have, what kind of interests they have, and we can help find something for them to get involved. International Baccalaureate actually made our list because it is a junior-senior program. It is the highest level of rigor offered really in the world. And I did say that right. I didn't mean just in Iowa, in the world. So it is an international program. We only 2 districts in the state of Iowa actually offer International Baccalaureate at their junior senior level. We are one of them. Des Moines is the other. And it's actually available at East and at West. We are the only district that has it in both of our high schools. So that is a program. If kids, the reason we mention that now, because I know you're thinking I've got a freshman, incoming freshman. If it's a junior senior program, you can tell me about it later. The reason I mention it now is because there are classes as freshmen and sophomores that we consider pre pre-IB courses. The rigor is a little bit harder, and the thought behind pre-IB classes are to get kids in these accelerated rigorous classes as freshmen and sophomore, because it makes it more likely that they will be successful in the junior senior IB program. Okay, so if you have questions about that, make sure you ask. We actually have somebody's name, Charisse Ortman is our Director of Advanced Programming. She can answer every question that you might have about IB. The last one I want to mention, specific to Waterloo schools, this is something also that's not offered, a lot of other districts. Career and technical education. You may have heard of a site that we have called Waterloo Career Center. We abbreviate it WCC for short. And it is, we've taken over a portion of the Central Middle School building because it was built as a very large high school, and we are actually using it as a middle school. So it was built for 1,200 kids. We only have 500 students in it right now. So there was excess space that we were able to take over to bring high school programming. And you might be wondering why we put it over at a kind of a neutral site. The reason is that the programming that we're bringing has very specific facility needs, very specific equipment needs, because it's all career-based. So for example, there's a nursing program. So in addition to learning nursing content, we actually built a nursing lab that looks like an emergency room, hospital beds, all of the equipment that you would see in a hospital. So that kind of equipment is extremely expensive. So instead of building it at East and then replicating it at West and replicating it at Expo, we actually built it once. So kids can travel over to the Career Center as early as their sophomore year. Again, I mention it now because there are courses that they could take as a freshman that would kind of preempt, if they want to go into the advanced manufacturing pathway as a sophomore and travel to the Career Center for a portion of the day starting in their sophomore year, they might want to make sure that their elective course that they sign up is in that area. It doesn't have to be, but sometimes freshmen will say, I want to take the Intro to Industrial Tech as a freshman as my elective course, and then that will get me down that path to going to the Career Center as a sophomore. So we mention it now because hopefully you're seeing how the freshman year and the sophomore year and the junior year and the senior year are all connected, and they're all connected to everything to come after high school, the post-secondary. So I'm going to show you a little video. This talks about the Career Center. It does lay out the pathway programs that we have over there. They are very career-based programs like nursing, like advanced manufacturing, like computer networking, like web and mobile apps, early childhood education. Those are all career areas. We will end up with eventually 15 to 16 full pathway programs. So by the time your kids get into the sophomore, junior, senior year, we're going to have probably all 16 of the programs open. Right now we have 5 open, and we're adding 4 more in the fall. So your kids are coming into high school at a really good time, because they're going to get more options than kids who are in high school right now. So let's watch the video.
Career education. Exciting things are happening in Waterloo schools as the district's career and technical education is set to expand from 5 to 15 programs during the next few years, starting fall 2018.
We really wanted to watch it and see what happened. And as we've been watching it, the student response has been amazing. The nursing program filled with many, many kids in a short amount of time.
In addition to nursing, digital graphics is the second career pathway currently offered at what's now called the Waterloo Career Center, located in the north end of Central Middle School.
3 programs we're adding for the 2017-2018 school year are early childhood education, advanced manufacturing, and information technology. We're looking at adding 4 programs for next school year, 2018, and hopefully by 2020 we'll have 10 additional programs in total.
So what does this accelerated pace mean for Central Middle School? This architectural rendering shows, in addition to renovations to existing space not being used, a new 6th grade wing will be created on the main floor with new ceilings, floors, light storage, and state-of-the-art technology.
It was built as a high school to house 1,200 kids, and we have less than half of that right now. So there is ample space. It made sense to move forward with Central Middle School. We are looking to make sure that the building has a good front to it, so when people drive up, they see that we have Waterloo Career Center and Central Middle School in the same building, but they have very distinct entrances. We are using one building for 2 purposes.
Existing funds designated for building remodeling will be committed to pay for the Career Center expansion as they're available, but not at the expense of other district-wide facility needs.
When we looked at the amount of money that was available for this career and technical education, one of the things that was very important to us was that we didn't deplete all of our excess dollars, but also leave funding available to begin those renovations in the rest of the building. In the meantime, we have other renovations that need to happen too on our existing buildings.
Career Center instructors, like Todd Kern, look forward to offering more students this hands-on real-world experience.
It's a culmination of the students' academic work, the English, Science, Math, and History, but applied to digital graphics, applied to business, applied to video and animation.
This connection between core courses and career training comes together when students spend part of their day at the Waterloo Career Center.
I love the idea because as a core teacher we say, oh, you need to have communication skills, you need to be able to read and write, and this way they'll see right away how we use those skills in a profession, in a career.
The business community and private donors like the Waterloo Schools Foundation are excited about the possibilities of expansion and collaboration. That includes surrounding school districts, as their students could pursue career training here and vice versa.
This is really a big step towards truly being the Cedar Valley. It just enhances things that have been going on, and I think this is just another step towards that collaborative effort between two cities, but really the Cedar Valley in general.
This vision really started in January of 2012, and I cannot tell you how exciting it is to actually be doing the work instead of planning the work. The funding has changed and the pace has changed, but the commitment and the vision has not changed. So it's a fabulous thing, and we are doing what's right for kids. And I can tell you that the renovation that's going on there right now that is readying or preparing the building to receive these programs is a $14 million renovation. It is a really exciting thing, and it is definitely catching the attention of our neighboring districts. We have students from Cedar Falls who are actually already driving over here. Their kids are actually coming over to take part in our program. So we're really excited about that. So you live in Waterloo, your kids attend Waterloo. It's the program for you guys, so for your children. Okay, bringing this kind of home for the day, I want to just reference the document that you have in front of you. There's one, it's a front back, and one side says tips for families, and I just want to kind of quickly go through the 4 quadrants that are on there. Up in the upper left-hand corner, I want to draw your attention and make sure that you note that that has the names of all of the counselors at the middle school and the counselors at the high school. So you're going to see the names of people that you can contact there. You likely know those names already. Over on the right-hand side, the upper right-hand side, it says talk to your child. We just put a list of questions in there that might be helpful for you. For some of you, you do not need our list of questions because you know exactly what you want to ask your kids. But for others, that might be helpful for you. Down in the lower left-hand corner, you're going to see some information about encouraging you to sign up for the parent portal from Infinite Campus. That is a really important thing, especially as you go into high school. My own 2 children happen to be in elementary school, and there's not huge amounts of information yet on the parent portal for them, like daily grades and that kind of thing. But when you get into high school, it is important, and there's quite a bit on there. So make sure you look at that. And then on the last quadrant that I want to draw to your attention, keep track of credits earned. This is a really good chance to tell parents face to face that your children will need minimum of 44 credits to graduate. That means that they need to get on average 11 credits every single year. So at the end of the freshman year, if they only have 10 credits, they are behind. They must have 11 credits every single year on average. So if a student gets 12 credits their freshman year, then the next year, technically, they could get 10 credits and they would still have 22 by the end of their sophomore year, and 33 by the end of their junior year, and 44 by the end of their senior year. So now, the one thing I would also caution you though, just because they have 44 credits doesn't mean that they're able to graduate, because go into that brochure. Remember when I mentioned the requirements? If you look at the brochure and it has the requirements of what kids have to have, some of those 44 credits have to be in certain areas, math, science, social studies. They have to have enough credits on that. So that's the one side. Now flip it over just quickly, and I'm not going to go over all of the frequently asked questions, but we actually surveyed parents and kids to ask them what are the things that you wish you would have known. And we've listed them out there, not only the question, but actually the answer as well as it. So I would draw your attention to just a couple of them. Number 3 is one I want to highlight. What is an honors diploma? The Waterloo School Board actually approved a policy that says that we actually have various diplomas that kids can earn. And most kids, the vast majority of kids, earn what we call a standard or a traditional diploma. Most kids do. But we also did offer an honors diploma, which is just it's just that extra step that kids can do. So look at what it is. It reiterates that students have to have 44 credits to graduate, but many exceed that number. Students who earn 53 or more credits, 10 of which have to be credit-bearing, college credit-bearing classes, advanced placement classes. If 10 out of those 53 credits are advanced placement or college-bearing credits, they would be eligible for the honors diploma. So again, we mention it now because kids don't want to wait until their senior year to decide that they want to go for their honors diploma because it's too late. It's too late. So when your kids bring their materials home, you need to have that conversation. One of the questions you need to say to them is, how about this honors diploma? Is that in your goals? What do we think about that? Do we want to go for that? Because if so, they really need to start signing up for some advanced courses and college-bearing credits as early as they're eligible, okay? So make sure you take a look at some of those questions. One of the things on there is, what will my schedule look like? When the draft schedule comes home, I just want to give you a preview of what it might look like. All freshmen must take a full year of English. Now, there are a couple options of different English classes that they can take, but they have to take an entire year. It is non-negotiable, non-negotiable. Math required all year, so they have to take semester 1 and a second semester. Same thing with science. And again, some of these classes, these courses have some choices of what they can take within that. There might be a couple different math classes they can take, but they still have to sign up for at least a full year of math. A full year of US history, it's required. A freshman. Somebody said, so does that mean we all have English first period? No. That just is showing you that everybody has to take a full year. PE is required for freshmen, as is a course called C3 Foundations. But I do want to note that this was the first year, I believe it's the first year that we offered C3 Foundations as early as 8th grade. So it's a required high school course, but some people took it at 8th grade level to kind of get it out of the way. And if they did, that's okay. If your child has already taken C3 Foundations, then they've already checkmarked. They've already gotten that required course. And if they haven't taken it, most kids have not taken it. So if they haven't taken it, they will take it their freshman year. There is a class called Seminar, which is also question 10 on your frequently asked questions. It is a time of the day that kids will have scheduled into their schedule when they will do either, maybe they need some extra help on something, some remediation on something. Maybe they have time to be accelerated on something. Maybe they need some additional time to get their homework done. Maybe they need some time to get help from a teacher. That's what that period is built into our schedule for. So that's seminar. So they will be scheduled into that. And then there are electives. There's elective and elective on both semesters. So they will have some choice as early as a freshman. That's where that course catalog and your conversation at home will come in to play. As kids get older, the number of required courses gets smaller and the number of elective choices that they get gets bigger. So freshmen, not a lot of choice. Sophomores, a little more choice. Juniors, a lot of choice. And by seniors, they've hopefully they have checked off most of their required courses by that time. Okay, so we bring it to a close right now. I wanted to make sure that you knew what to do as you have questions. You will have questions as we go forward. Some of them you can ask your children and they will know the answer. If they don't know the answer, here's how we want to make this work. If you have questions between now and the last day of your child's school year, which we don't know exactly what date that will be because of snow days, but give or take a little bit, June 6th, you should ask your middle school counselors any questions that you have about scheduling. They will be the ones helping your children do the draft schedules. So go to them. They're your first line of defense from now till the end of your child's 8th grade career. Then after that time, your questions should be directed to the high school counselors. We wish you a successful registration season for your kids, and we'll stick around to help in any way that you need. Thank you very much.